Robertson, and you say I'm the world's #1 speaker coach, or what I do professionally. I take it you looked at my bio and did some research. As long as you spell my name right and got my professional distinction right, more importantly, CEO of speakerfocus.com, I'm ready to rock.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys are in for a real treat, and so am I, because I'm not going to have to speak as much, because this brother, he has done over 2,750 paid speaking engagements since 1988. Some of y'all weren't even born in 1988, but it was one heck of a year. Kevin T. Robinson, KTR. Man, this brother, if he ain't the #1 speaker, you say, hey, but what about? No, you find me somebody else who puts his record on the line. If he's not the #1 speaker, then you show me who is, and I bet you he's talked with that person, maybe even battled him. Maybe there's a versus in the future. But Kevin, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, Kellen, man. Great to be on the show. I love what you're doing, bro. Let's rock.
Man, let's just talk about what you do, because you've done so many paid speaking gigs that can be verified, y'all. You can go online, type it in, look up videos. You can see him even with the ponytail when he was rocking it. He cut it off now, but he was rocking the ponytail. So, I got mine. So I just feel like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me know, how did you start speaking? Because I know it wasn't just somebody put you in place. It was a lot of hard work and sweat.
No doubt. Hey, listen, by the way, my hair is still down to my shoulders. I just got it tucked in right now, so shout out to the long hair crew for life. So listen, I graduated in 1986 at the age of 17. So when I turned 18, a couple months later, I got my first paid speaking opportunity. And I didn't know that you could get paid. Some local church, a friend of mine, some local church asked me to come speak at a singles ministry. They gave me like $56 and some change. It was enough for me to get some fast food and put a little bit of gas in the ride for me and my little girlfriend at the time. And I did not know that I was going to have a long-standing career being a professional speaker. Back then, I was just the motivational, typical, inspirational speaker. I had the fluffy part right that made you feel good. I always had a natural penchant to lead other people and really make them feel good and get them to move to immediate action. I just had that kind of energy. I was birthed with that. So I was always skilled in art, music, I modeled, danced, sang. I did all of that kind of stuff when I was in school, and I excelled at it. So I knew that I was destined for something great. I just didn't know that I was going to get to the level that I am right now. But it started from humble beginnings.
And with those beginnings, I mean, being so young, a lot of people say, the church will let you speak, but then in trying to prove yourself in the business world, how long did it take you to say, you know what, I can do this for executives, I can do this for my peers as well? And, because people say, oh man, at 45, yeah, you should start speaking because you've done enough life. But because you started so early, how did you prove yourself to those who might have had the accolades of a Harvard or an Oxford, and you are a teenager?
Mm-hmm. Great point, Kellen. Well, it does take time to get there. And I'd like to say this to everybody who does have a dream of being a speaker. The high fee stuff is not going to come off the break. And you are at a huge disadvantage, to your point, that you're not going to be talking to Harvard graduates or people that are real business professionals because you have not lived enough yet. So what you can do, there are other markets that you can have success in when you are younger, until you get some age on your side, until you get some business experience, until you get some workplace experience, to start teaching other business professionals how they need to flow in their lives to peak their performance and become better. Now, I will say this, you have 6 different target markets. You have the youth market, speaking to kids, the faith-based market, speaking to churches, government contracting market, the college and university market, and then you have the big dog market, which is the corporate and association market. So if you're younger, like I was when I was 18, yeah, you could go speak at a youth ministry. You could go speak at a community center, a high school, maybe even get away with speaking in the college market because those are people closer to your age. But it does take some professional experience. You got to get out in the field and get dirty, whether or not that's you working a job and you understand how a corporation is run from top to bottom, or you delve into being an entrepreneur and you got to crash and burn a lot before you start providing experience to other business professionals, because there's a responsibility that comes along with this thing called professional speaking, Kellen. And I had no idea about that when I was in my early years. So it took me until I was maybe 27, pushing 28 to start offering advice to corporations and higher level business executives.
And I want to get, before we get into KTR, because your success and what you do can be, you know, it can be tracked. People can go see what you've done. For everybody who's done great things in life, they always have a community give back that they are doing or that they plan to do in the future. Because sometimes people are like, I talked about that too much. Let me tell you what's to come. What is something that is a community give back for you that you're doing or you want to do in the future?
Well, it's always been, you know, being able to give back to people that are younger. You know, I have a real passion to help people learn how to become entrepreneurs. So obviously there's a philanthropic arm to what it is that we do right now, you know, and that's called the KTR mentorship program. And I've been doing that for over 25 years. So what I do is I teach people who want to get into the entertainment industry. I've been very fortunate where I've been a celebrity insider since I've been 18. I've always toured and traveled with multi-platinum recording artists. I was a recording artist myself. I have an entertainment background. So it's very natural for me I was hanging around all these celebrities. I'm like, you know what? I need to learn how to interview them. Like, I don't need to just be jocking and taking pictures. I need to like get inside and find out the struggles that they go through. And bro, you have thousands of interviews that I've done, man, just like you discover when you interview people. Man, the struggle is real, and we all come from a real place. And people that have a high level of success, they earned it. They earned it. So I started to interview people and work red carpet events. And I had an in-studio show, Blueprint for Success, back in the 90s. Then I just took that out into the field and turned it into the Kevin T. Robertson show, and then later the KTR show. And I can tell you that the give back that's good for me is that I teach young people, typically coming out of high school into college, and they're in their early years of learning of figuring out what they want to do. And they tell me, hey, KTR, I want to be an executive assistant, or I have a passion to be a photographer or a videographer. And then they learn the game from the inside out. And I take them to these celebrity events with me. I teach them how to work the red carpet. I teach them discipline. I teach them all of that kind of stuff. The give back for me matters more when you have something to give. There's a lot of people that want to start a philanthropic arm or community outreach, but they don't have an economic base up under them. And it's so much easier to do it, but to start out with, man, you can just share your time if you have it. You can give your knowledge if you have it and start empowering other people. But I have a structured program where these kids go through a process to learn the game from somebody that's at the top. And I enjoy doing it.
And with, you know, been doing it since 88 and now, you know, teaching people, what are one of the things that you have seen just changed, you know, for the good or the bad in people's attitude towards, you know, speaking? Because I say that because with the internet, now everybody's a speaker, everybody's an expert. You know, you could be a 5-year-old now. Yeah, I'm a life coach. So, but what are some of the things you've seen just change that, you know, for, like I say, for the good or the bad?
Mm-hmm. Kellen, I love your line of questioning, bro. This thing right here called a smartphone has changed our lives. And you're right. Everybody who is a 21-year-old that has one of these in their hand, they believe now or think that they are a life coach or a motivational, inspirational speaker. First of all, there is a distinct difference between motivational, inspirational speaking, which is basically what I did for the first 7 years of my career. That's the hypey part. I'm going to make Kellen feel good part. Rah, 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 sis, boom, bah part. Then there's a professional side of actually transferring knowledge, facilitation, and teaching. That's what a professional speaker does. Younger speakers don't have a concept of that. That's about 80% of the YouTubers, Kellen. They're all trying to out muscle and out motivate each other. It's a lot of people talking shit, but very few people actually know how to speak. And that's the differentiator. The differentiator is, how bad do you want to get over here in the professional lane, the high fee speaking lane, or do you want to stay in the low fee speaking, motivational, inspirational range? Now, I'll say a lot of that comes from, we live in a very microwave society. The internet allows you to access information quick. I mean, just like that. And that's a good thing, because you can, it's like your fingerprint. You have a social media fingerprint. I can Google somebody right now and I can look at their social media fingerprint in the top 10 searches. If you're really good at it, you can go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages on a Google search. I can hit the pictures. I can see what you've done. I can see the track record. I can look at your website. I can check all of that out. But there's so many people that don't have credentials, Kellen. I'm talking solid credentials. You may have taken a course from somebody else, and now you think that you can teach that thing and you repackage it on the internet and sell it to somebody else, and you're calling yourself a life coach. You can get a, listen, Mickey Mouse gives out certifications, okay? I can be part of the Mickey Mouse Club. Doesn't mean I know what the hell I'm talking about, right? So, you know, I tell people that if you really want to make a strong play at professional speaking, you've got to work your ass off. You got to study the game, and you got to really understand that you have value, and you've got to show that value, because real professionals are looking to excel, and they're looking to get the slight edge advantage. They want to be better than their competition. And if you can't show them how to do that, and you got youth on your side, or you got a lack of knowledge or experience on your side, you're going to still fall into that sis boom by motivational, inspirational speaker category. And it's a whole lot more to the game than that.
Does it bother you at all when you talk about the repackaging? Yes. I mean, yeah, people, I see it and I say, this is so-and-so stuff you took. And we all learn from, we all learn from everybody, I like to say. But that repackaging, have you ever had to sue anybody for repackaging your program?
Well, the beautiful part, I'm represented by lead counsel Ward White, last 33 years, out of Texas, out of the Fort Worth area, Dallas. Lead counsel to 4-time Grammy Award winner Erykah Badu, as well as a host of other celebrities. The late, great Biz Markie, rap legend. I toured with Biz for many, many years. And listen, I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, because I got a high-powered entertainment attorney handling all that business behind the scenes. Listen, I've had 17 stalkers, had to put peaceable restraining orders on a couple of them. This is part of the game when you get in the celebrity space like me, and you have to have a strong legal arm, and I do. Now, that being said, we have had to chin check a couple of people, snatch that down, don't do that. Bro, I had somebody, I used to have a brand called the Motivational Supercharger of the 21st Century. That's the way I used to introduce myself, and the celebrities used to love it. Hey, this is Kevin T. Robertson, the Motivational Supercharger of the 21st Century, America's leading focus expert. Now, I still use the America's leading focus expert part, but now you're getting into trademarks and copywriting and things of that nature. And yes, you have to go to those lengths to protect your brand, because I have one now, and it makes millions of dollars a year. So that's the area of the ocean I'm swimming in. So you better be protecting your stuff. That's the legal side of it. So I got Ward White. I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, because we can file a brief the next morning on your ass if we need to. The other side is that I'm a creative writer. I'm gifted with the skill and ability to write. So copywriting is my number one skill. And I see people borrowing stuff from me all the time. Even the top coaches do. They all try to inbox me and figure out what I'm doing. Number one, they want to know, how is this Black guy making all this money? How is this Black guy? How does he have all these customers? Why am I seeing his ad all the time on Facebook? But I can just create new content, which I do, Kellen, every single day. So if you want to borrow, I consider it an honor that you feel high enough of me to borrow, or I've influenced you in some kind of way. I just keep writing new stuff, bro. The greats and the pioneers, trailblazers and mavericks, they're often imitated but never duplicated. So I just simply don't worry about that kind of stuff. I'm talented. I could just create more content.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Now, this is for a question. I was having a session yesterday with a mentee, and they were saying how I don't think I can be great with a family. I don't think I can get a wife. I don't think I can have kids. I can barely have a girlfriend. How have you been able to balance family and work?
Interesting question. Just by choice, and because of the stalker situation I told you about, I don't display my family on my social media at all. Period. Right. And I am married. That's just a choice. The way I do it is I learned a long time ago. I've been married for 23 years. I've known my wife for 30 years. Right. So we got a strong relationship. My other best friend is my accountant. 35 years. That's my best friend. My other best friend is my attorney, Ward, I told you about, 33 years. So I got 30 plus relationships in my life. I really don't do new friends, but I know how to nurture a relationship. Now, what I learned very early on, when I was in my younger years, this was before KTR was a brand. This was just when I was Kevin Robertson. I wasn't even using a T back then. My logo, my ego, I should say, was in the way of everything, bro. And because I didn't understand how things worked at a young age, I used to say yes to everybody. Now, saying yes to everybody means you might be the best number one person in business, or you may be making a lot of money, but you're a horrible boyfriend. You're a horrible fiance. You're a horrible husband. You're a horrible parent. You can't be Superman in every category at the same time. So what I learned the hardest way possible, crashing and burning, messing up relationships, is to give everything your undivided attention. So when I'm on family time, I don't have this in my hand. I don't sleep with my cell phone doesn't need to be by my bedside. I leave it in my office on the charger. I put my headphones on. I listen to sleep meditation music. It has that kind of frequency in it to just bro, you want to talk about a deep sleep? And then when you wake up in the morning, you're ready to conquer the world. You should be listening to affirmations all night long, not the TV with gangster movies, bang, 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 in your brain, messing up your subconscious. So I give everything, Kellen, my undivided attention. I knew I was going to be at a certain time with you, and I had a block of time that you and I were going to be talking. I don't care about anything else right now. All I care about is the moment that I'm in. When you do that and you give your significant other your undivided attention, or your kids your undivided attention, or you're taking care of business, or the client that you have in front of you, and nothing else matters, and they know they're number one because they're going to feel it, then you're going to be on your way to having stronger relationships. But when you're managing a relationship and you got the phone in your hand, you trying to DM people, you surfing the internet, bro, let me tell you something. People know you're not into them, and they're going to feel it, because authenticity in today's market reigns supreme. It's easy to be number one. All you got to do is not be full of shit and just be authentic and just be real and share and be willing to be transparent. And last but not least, Kellen, you got to be vulnerable to somebody, bro. And you got to have somebody to answer to. And I'm talking about all you executives out there that work for yourselves. You got to have somebody to answer to. I just live here and pay the bills, bro. I don't run nothing. And I'm smart enough to be able to know that.
No, I love it. I love it. Now, I'm going to put a little pressure on you, because what you just said needs to be packaged in a book by somebody who looks and sounds like you.
Okay.
Any book plans for the future? And I say that, and before you answer that, I say that because we see now, everybody, and I interview and represent influencers. I don't always tell people who, but the high value man, everybody has taken online, and I'm a high value man because I make six figures. But someone like yourself, who has made way more than six figures, has stayed married, and still can give the game authentically and true. And you don't have to, I can't say that because they'll cancel me. You say what you want to say.
Oh, yeah.
That book, and possibly, if y'all got questions, ask him. I've only been married 14 years. That's 33 plus years. That's a beautiful thing. You can give that life coaching that so many who are trying can't. So book plans, you gonna put in a documentary for us, a movie, TD Jake style? What's going on?
Yeah, it's no doubt about it. I mean, listen, I've been extremely focused And that's why they call me America's leading focus expert, because, you know, I teach people how to organize their focus and clarify their vision. There's a lot of people focusing on a lot of things, but you've got to, real focus is concentrating on one thing at a time. And when you do that, it automatically raises the visibility of everything else. So it's amazing you mentioned about books. I just co-authored a book with Jim Britt, one of the world's top 20 leadership coaches, and also with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, endorsed by the one and only master himself, Mr. Tony Robbins. That's already a Amazon #1 bestseller in over 4 countries. So, but in the future, I will be writing books about leaderships and relationships and how you make all of those things work. And I will be doing a series on communication, as well as, you know, releasing another series on speaking. Now, some people want to operate speaking as a business, but everybody needs to learn how to communicate. And many people suffer from glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking. So yes, I absolutely want to share this. I'm in the legacy stage of my career right now. I'm in my early 50s. I'm 53. And it's important for me to document everything. That's why, Kellen, I appreciate you, you know, asking me to come on your podcast, because it's important that we leave these gems behind. You know, when we're long gone, this interview is going to be here. Many other of the books and the training series that I designed is going to be there. So absolutely, man, I want to teach people the game, because you have a divorce is up over 52.3%. And the #1 cause of divorce is finance. It's not infidelity. It's a lot of other things that go in there, but ego and emotions and things of that nature really mess up your relationship. So you've got to know how to be vulnerable. You have to know how to listen. You have to know that it's not about you. This is team. If you don't want to be about team, then don't get married. And that's okay. You have to pick your path, and you have to be okay with that. I'm okay with the decision. And I tell you this, it's death do us part. I'm not doing this again, because I've invested a lot into my relationship and it's paid off big time. There's no way I'm gonna put somebody else in the #1 position like that in my life, to be able to trust them with my life and my house and the management of my personal brand and my business brand. And sometimes you only get one queen, bro, and you got to be smart enough to know when you get it, and you better do everything you can to hold on to it, because loyalty has an expiration date for some people. You're going to get one person that's going to rock all the way with you. You got to be smart enough to see it. Some people see it and they lose it because they mismanage it.
Yeah, so some folks, you know, got that that player try to stay in them forever. You can still be a player, but be a player in business. Flip it so you don't crap out in this game of life trying to do too much and eat off everybody's plate. Now, you've done entertainment. I could just see you. I don't know. Is it a Nigerian movie? I'm talking to my Africans right now. Do we need to bring him over for a Nigerian movie? Acting wise, have you ever, you know, done anything in film? And is that even an interest of you at this point of the game?
Oh, sure. I mean, it has to be, because it's an arm of entertainment. I mean, I've worked with Octet Productions, and, you know, I work with Bree and Chuck over there, Octet Productions, and I put together a movie with them. And, you know, that was a great experience. But I'm talking about when I was in elementary school, I was acting back then. I was in a play when I was in the first grade. I was starting the play called The Candyman. You know, Sammy Davis Jr. had a song called The Candyman, and I starred in that play. So I always was in entertainment. I always was a natural at that. That just moved into acting, moved into modeling, moved into playing the trumpet when I was in the 4th grade. That moved into playing in R&B bands and go-go bands here in the DC area. You know, it's a local music that I got involved in. And that just led to people in our band just broke out and did their own thing. But absolutely, bro. And listen, I still leave it open. I still work with a film company out of Atlanta right now. We're doing a movie called The New Black Wall Street. I mean, I could jump in an acting role whenever I want to. You know, and this is the beautiful part about waiting patiently, focusing on one thing. See, the entertainment led me into the speaking really early, but the speaking, bro, gave me a platform to have everybody in the world literally coming to me right now. Bro, I get approached with 50 to 100 offers, movies, production, television, radio, podcast. Would you host this with me? Would you do this with me? Bro, I get it all, man. And that's all because I didn't go asking for it. I took my time and built a brand, just like you, Kellen. You have the type of glow where everybody wants to be a part of what you're doing. And you and I, we recognize it right off the break. You was like, okay, KTR, we're going to do that, but this is what I need you to do right now. So you extended me an invitation to come on your podcast, and I was all for it because this is what you do, bro. You're multifaceted, multi-talented, just like I am. And we're looking at each other and what we should do as people of color, because we don't have it that often. We have to support. It's too much hating going on. Like think about it, Kellen. A person doing more than you, they ain't gonna never hate on you.
Yeah.
You're doing just as much as me. You got just as much professional cachet and experience. And I love you because you're humble, but you're aggressive. See, I call it humbly aggressive. This guy has a battery, high motor, high drive, high energy, but he's like, yo, don't be afraid to recognize greatness when you're in front of it. And that's why you have showcase people on your show. And I tip my hat off to you for that, because a lot of people just want to get the glory for themselves. And you understand what serving other people are all about. And I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Blessings, blessings. Now, that new movie you're in, is that the one in Stonecrest, Georgia? Is that the one that...
No, I got to kind of keep that one under wraps right now. It's talking about the name of the project is New Black Wall Street. So it's no, that's not in Stonecrest. We shot that in the Douglasville area a lot, and we shot it at some clubs. We shot it at the couple businesses that we own in the Atlanta area. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, I'm just waiting for the right time and the right thing to come along. And by the way, I will be shooting a documentary of my story probably in another couple of years as well, because it's been a wonderful ride, bro.
Man, I see it, and you guys, movies, you can't talk about them. And so what I said about that city, you can Google it, but I can't talk about that either. That's all I was asking.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, and guess what? And we both work with high profile people all the time. So there's NDAs and confidentiality agreements involved. So it's only but so much you can say. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, but it's also, movies, Hollywood, whatever, Black Hollywood is so, superstitious. So it's like until that's
right.
Yeah. Now, being in the Black community, doing what you do, I know when you started, people, what you talk about? You're going to be a paid speaker. Yeah, can't nobody make no money. Who do you think you are? How did you get over that? Because I know it came from probably some of the closest people at the time. How did you get over that? Because so many people struggle with what their mama said, what their daddy said, what their cousin said about them.
Wow. I'm telling you, Kellen, your line of questioning is on fire, bro. I mean, you hitting to the very pain of where I started and the very reason why I speak free. See, people got to understand, when you speak authentically and when you speak free and you say whatever you want to say, whatever the situation is, yes, it's time to have professional decorum. But sometimes, bro, I just got to take it back to the Kevin T. Robertson that grew up in Capitol Heights, Maryland, with rats and roaches running around eating fried bologna and cheese sandwiches every day. And that is not how we talk with professional decorum in the hood when I was growing up in the 60s and the 70s. And sometimes you think about that the people dearest to you, the people that you grew up with, your friends and direct immediate family, and even your mama sometimes. And my mom is one of my most staunch supporters, but they will tell you that, why are you doing this? You keep making these mistakes. But early on, my friends were telling me, why do you want to write a book? Why do you want to speak? Man, that's not going to work. Or they would call me, oh, you fake preacher. They would clown me like that, right? And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be a preacher. I don't feel like I was called to do that. There's people that do that, and that's their lane, but that's not my lane. So obviously you're going to have your detractors. And I believe, Kellen, what happens is, and this is something I didn't know when I was younger, but I learned it when I got older. When your friends, peer-to-peer pressure starts setting in, when your friends see that you're separating yourself, that means that you're reading more books. Yo, I got to go to this meeting, and you're not hanging out on the corner with them no more. And then they're pissed because you're not giving them your time anymore. And then they start calling you bougie, or you're fake ass, or you want to go over there and do this, do that. Let me tell you something, bro. You have to be willing to suffer through the criticism. You've got to be willing to swim through the sacrifice. Let's go back to a movie analogy. Remember the movie called Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins, Shawshank Redemption.
Dempsey.
One of my favorite movies. I've seen it like 25 times, literally. Remember the scene at the end of the movie when Tim Robbins was wrongfully accused of a crime and he had to spend all that time in jail. But he planned for 30 plus years. He took a little pickaxe and picked his way and carved through a tunnel. Now, remember when he got through the tunnel, he had to swim through a waste tube about 2 football fields long before he gained his freedom. And you know what he did? He took off all the jail clothes and he started a brand new life for himself. How much bullshit are you willing to swim through and go through to get to the pinnacle of what it is that you got to be? I mean, are you willing to step into the man or woman that you want to be, that you know you're destined to be? And I just lived free. I wasn't worried about what the people said about me. I took the criticism. I took getting beat up sometimes, getting in an argument, getting in a heated fight. But I still know I had to live my dream. I had a responsibility to other people. And I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning, but I tell you what, I found my way. It's been a rocky road. It's lonely at the top, Kellen, but the view is absolutely beautiful. Look at the beautiful home that you do your podcast from right now. And that picture says it all, brother.
Man, thank you. And at the end, when he hit that beach, and then when Morgan Freeman, when they met, that was the part you say, my goodness, what people have to go through.
Yes.
And I love that you brought that up, because some people, life is sweet right now, but things can change. Especially in this country, things can change. So appreciate what you have, folks. Don't just, I got a nice this, a nice that. Appreciate the people, because it's people first. Now, you talk about, swimming through that and having a good family balance. Can you give a tip to a young man who his wife is telling him right now, you work too much? You're doing too much, Hey, you're going to catch a heart attack, a stroke if you keep at this pace. What would your advice be? Because if you got a good wife, she's probably giving you some great game.
Ain't no question about it. Let me tell you something. If you have a great wife, a blessing, 9 times out of 10, when she says something, it's number 1, to protect you. Number 2, to give you game that you can't see. And a lot of times they do, especially if your wife is smart. Not just some yes woman, but a woman who's going to tell it to you like it is. 9 times out of 10, bro, she is absolutely in the ballpark of being correct, and you need to listen. That means removing your ego. Now, let me share with you, let me drop some books on you. The 48 Laws of Power teaches you how to, by Robert Greene, with an E on the end. It teaches you how to obtain power, how to maintain it, and how not to abuse it. Some of the greatest leaders in the world have abused power and they have fallen. The same thing that makes you great is the same thing that'll bury you and put you in the ground. Ego. Men are ego wired. Women are emotionally wired, Kellen. So what I would say is also study another book called The Millionaire Next Door. Look at your average millionaire does not have a Bugatti. Your average millionaire does not have your average millionaire always has a great spouse, always. Your average millionaire understands family. They also understand exercise. Balance is not all the way balanced. A marriage is never 50-50. Forget about that. When I was on my honeymoon, I got food poisoning. It was 100 to 0. I could barely stand up on my honeymoon, right? During my wedding day, we had literally torrential rains on my wedding day. Can you weather the storm? Can you be there for your person when they're flat on their back and on their ass, when they're sick? This says through sickness and in health, through richer or poor. Are you listening to what it's saying? Man, bro, people ain't listening to that shit. They're just doing whatever they want to do. So give your person your not only undivided attention, but you've got to be able to find some balance, incorporate exercise, and you have to schedule this. I wake up in the morning every day, 5 a.m. From 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. when my schedule starts, that's my time. That's my time that I get a chance to meditate. I get a chance to get my mind clear about what I want to do before my clients sink their claws into me, before I have to do the grind. But there's a point in the morning and there's a point in the evening when I always circle back to my significant other. Right. And I make that bond there. That's how I keep my relationship going. If you're going to have one, you better put some time into it. Don't think that because your business is on autopilot right now, but your personal life is falling apart. No, if my personal life isn't right, if the people around me that I love, if they're not right, then nothing else is going to be right. And that's why I put the right kind of time into it. Nurture it, bro. Treat it like a beautiful flower. It's not going to blossom unless you give it some sun, unless you give it some water and some tender loving care. Think about that kind of stuff, man. A lot of things that's happening with the universe or with the earth, if you manage your relationship like that, man, it will grow. But it ain't gonna grow if you don't put no time into it. I don't have to tell you about sundown. You live in Florida. Go ahead.
Now, if you guys like this game, I want you to go subscribe to his YouTube channel. You know, I want you to go to the website, whether you are listening or those of you who are watching. The numbers are going up for those who are watching. We appreciate that. You can go subscribe. Go check out the links. Kevin, I don't want to give them too much game, because the real game is when they contact you, if they are ready, if they are serious. And what I mean by that, folks, that you have the time to put into it. You have put some money away to invest into yourself. You're not making Kevin rich. Okay. He's good already. He's been doing this since 88. Y'all do the math on that, you know. But, you know, I want to give you some final words. Tell them where you'd like them to connect, and just, you know, what the next steps would be for those who are ready in this season.
Okay. Well, those of you who would like to give me a follow on my social media, all of it is Kevin T. Robertson, KevinTRobertson, or you can find me by KTR. And also, if anybody is interested in a career as a professional speaker, and you don't want to fall victim to what 80% of the YouTubers are, which is just being a motivational blowhard and a bloviator and people who are just talking but not knowing how to speak, you can reach out to us at speakerfocus.com. We offer a free training. You can take the free training. It's a half-an-hour video. You can look at my story. You can see how I've been able to overcome these struggles. And it's a lot of great information. I give away more free information than anybody else in my space, and I do that for a reason. Yeah, but if you want to contact us, reach out to us at speakerfocus.com. You can schedule a free strategy session with me if you like. If you're ready to take your speaking to a whole nother level, and you're not looking for somebody to be kissing your ass and holding your hand and singing Kumbaya around the fireplace, because I'm going to be on you like white on rice if you decide to work with us. If you want to be associated with somebody that actually gives a damn about your success, then I'm the person in this business you want to talk to.
You guys have been blessed with the message. If you do nothing else, share this with somebody. It will change their life.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.